Hello, how are you doing? I am Lungile and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to do my reaction to our beloved Nqobile. This past Monday was the season finale and it is exactly how we wanted the show to end. Spoiler, Simo gets punished. So I already have a video on the show Nqobile, but that video is more specific as it explores the reasons why women stay in abusive relationships. But I like it and I think it's very interesting. So I'm going to link it down below in the description box. Please make sure that you check it out and like it. And while we're talking about liking, please like this video, and if you have not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified every time that I post a new video. Straight into business. Okay, Nqobile is an amazing show. It's a show that South Africa needed, a show that makes us confront one of our biggest social issues in this country, which is gender-based violence, the abuse within the home. So let's get into it. My reaction is going to be character by character. I think that's just going to be easier for me because this show had 13 episodes. I mean, how do I react to 13 episodes? Okay, so the first person I want to talk about is, of course, our leading lady, Nqobile, and I can't talk about her without talking about her husband. So yes, we are introduced to our couple, Nqobile and Simo. Nqobile is portrayed as a loving wife. Yes, she's aware that there's issues in her relationship and she keeps doing her best, to try and resolve the issues. She keeps asking her husband, can we go out for dinner? She keeps telling her husband that I love you, I love you. I mean, she's being portrayed as a loving wife, and in any marriage, a wife must be loving, And at the beginning of the show, she's mourning their deceased child. They also have another living child. But she's mourning their deceased child. She's doing everything culturally appropriate with regard to their situation. So honestly, I don't get what Simo's problem is. She's a lovely, loving wife, but he just doesn't love her. Okay, he treats her poorly, he's not kind to her, he's mean to her. Now, being unkind and being mean does not always mean abuse, but on top of all that, he's also abusive towards her, and he hits her, he beats her up, he calls her names. Why does she love him? I don't know. Is she loving him, or is she loving the idea of him, or the idea of what they could be? I ain't got no clue. Okay, so now they have a daughter who amazingly is nowhere to be seen whenever Papa is beating Mama up. So somebody smart, either Simo is smart or the writers are smart. But just for my own thinking, I think it would have been very interesting to depict and show us the effects that abuse within the home has on the children. I mean, of course, the writers and producers of the show, they know what they did. Yes, so now Simo and Ntombi both work in the same company, Simo's father's company, and Simo sucks. But his father, the current CEO, is not impressed. So, the time I was watching this entire show, I kept asking myself, why the hell is Simo such an atrocious human being? And the only explanation I could come up with is because maybe he tried so hard to get his father's love and he just wasn't getting it, and it turned him into a bitter, terrible person. It's the only explanation that I have. He got daddy issues and he takes them out on his wife. But to be honest, Simo is terrible to everybody besides his mom. So yeah, like I don't get it. So anyway, Simo has aspirations of taking over his father's company when his father retires. But then his father doesn't retire because his father gets murdered by another character I am going to talk about in a while. And upon his father's death, the will is read and Nqobile is CEO. And Simo is mad as hell. And to tell you the truth, his anger is valid, you know. Here you are, your parents have a company, and you work in the company, and you think, you know, you're in a position to be in a higher position, and that position gets given to somebody else. You are allowed to feel some type of anger. So that reaction from Simo, to me, is warranted. But my God, he takes it to 100. Okay, so Nqobile takes over as CEO, and my goodness, doesn't she just have radical changes? Okay, she fires or retrenches all the male employees and hires female employees in their place. Pardon me, but I don't know the law. I don't know labor law, but to me that seems a little bit illegal, wrong. I don't get it. Anyway, she had a certain strategy that she wanted to explore, and she couldn't do that with male drivers in the company, so they had to go. They were given packages, you know. And then she rebranded the company. She named it Starfly instead of Gosi Shuttles. Starfly, Gosi Shuttles. I like Gosi Shuttles better. But anyway, she goes into an entire, you know, rebranding exercise, and clearly it is, you know, her strategy is targeting the female clientele. Men got money too. Men need shuttle services too, you know. I don't know how smart it is to cut out the men in business, you know. So anyways, now another point that set in my mind, before Mr. Nkosi passed on, he kept mentioning that the company is in debt, the company is struggling financially. That is why they needed Nqobile's radical strategies. But now Nqobile takes over and starts rebranding. All of that costs money. Retrenching people, giving them retrenchment packages, all that takes money. So I don't get it. So I have already mentioned that Simo is a terrible man, and to prove or in keeping with his terribleness, he also has a long-term side chick. He has been cheating on his wife for a couple of years. And who has he been cheating on his wife with? Her very own best friend, Nqobile. And it gets worse. They all work together. Oh my God. So, anyways, Nqobile low-key resents Nqobile for everything that Nqobile has, that everything, you know, Nqobile has achieved. Some of it, if not all of it, Nqobile feels that it should be her. It should be hers. And the sneaky thing about Nqobile is, in front of Nqobile, she does all the right things. But deep down in her own dark heart, she hates Nqobile. Otherwise, why would she be having an affair with Nqobile's husband? Simo's mother knows that Simo beats Nqobile up. She does nothing about it. Simo's mother knows that Simo is having an extramarital affair with Nqobile's best friend. And the best she could do is be like, be careful so you don't get caught. What kind of mothering is that? She coddled Simo. She's overprotective of Simo, to the extent that she hates Nqobile just because she knows her son hates his own wife. Simo's mom is monster-in-law towards Nqobile. So for us ladies with aspirations of getting married someday, good luck. May we not have a mother-in-law like that. The villain of the show. But she turned out not to be so villainous. And it's Black Widow. Black Widow is introduced initially as this dangerous woman, you know, and Simo owes her money. Simo owes her a lot of money. We don't know how much money. Number two, we don't know how Simo got to owe her all this money. Number three, we don't know how much money it is. We don't know what Simo did with the money. The whole show, Simo owes this dangerous woman money, and this dangerous woman wants her money, and Simo is trying constantly, all the time, trying to pay her back. So we don't know the backstory of Simo owing this lady money. I mean, when the show is ending, she talks about how she runs a gambling business, and So maybe that's what Simo did, gambled and lost at her gambling establishment. But the thing is, Simo never even once talks about gambling, even thinks about gambling. Nobody ever mentions Simo to be a gambler. So I stand. I don't know why, how Simo owes this woman money. So anyways, another thing about Black Widow is that she's looking for her long lost granddaughter. Now, this show is a show that explores gender-based violence, and bringing in Black Widow shows that gender-based violence can be intergenerational. Black Widow was in an abusive relationship, and then Black Widow's daughter was also in an abusive relationship, and she got murdered, I think, by her partner. And now, look at this, Nqobile, because we figured it out pretty early that Nqobile was the granddaughter that Black Widow was looking for. Now, Nqobile is in a same situation. So, you know, all these generational curses, we need to do our damnedest and our best to make sure that they don't keep passing on to the next generation. If I am a woman and I'm being abused and I have children, I need to do my best to shelter my children from that experience, which might lead them to being abused or abusers in the future. So after Black Widow murders Simo's father, Simo promises to pay back Black Widow in company shares. And then when the will came and he discovered that he's not CEO, he needed to come up with another plan to be CEO, because his life literally depends on it, you know. And Black Widow liked the idea of being paid back in company shares. So now Black Widow wants those company shares. So Simo's plan was that he is going to sabotage Nqobile. All of Nqobile's plans to prosper this company, the company that is his livelihood, is going to sabotage it, you know. And shortly after his father passed on, bill collectors start coming, you know. They're saying this has not been paid for, this has not been paid for, and his mother is worried, and Simo keeps saying, yeah, I'll pay for it. Like, does this man not have a savings account? I don't get what Simo does with the money. He doesn't buy his side chick any gifts. He definitely doesn't give his wife any money. Doesn't pay any bills. So anyways, he decides to sabotage Nqobile. His first plan is to rally with the drivers that were retrenched. Now, after the drivers were retrenched, they decided to take the company to the CCMA, the right and legal thing to do. But oh no, Simo came in there and convinced those men, used their anger to his advantage, you know, and told them that they need to sabotage the drivers, attack the female drivers on the road, of which they did. But it didn't give Simo the results that he wanted. So Simo needed a new strategy, and he decided that his side chick, Ntombi, must sabotage the company app. The app that, this is a shuttle Tapa Uber business. So Ntombi must sabotage that app so that the company is brought to a standstill, and she does, and the company is brought to a standstill. Now Nqobile is in trouble. So there's another character called Gugu. He's head of security. He's also Simo's mom's bodyguard, one of the two. So Google brings in some hacker chiquita to come and find out who done what to our app, and of course, as such, Ntombi gets caught. I don't get why these two are sabotaging their livelihood. Ntombi gets caught. Nqobile calls her in to confront her, and Ntombi has no remorse. Ntombi shows her true colors, her resentment over everything Nqobile has and is. That escalates. They get physical, wigs are snatched, slaps are flying. They literally had to be pulled off of each other. That was fun to watch. I don't support violence. This is just a TV show. That was fun to watch. So shortly after that, Bab hits the fan. The plot thickens. And Ntombi and Simo got into some type of a fight. And Ntombi gets pushed, hits her head in a funny position, and dies. And Simo frames his wife. He frames Nqobile for that. And I must say, I am not a Simo fan. I am not a fan of murder, but Simo did a good job framing Nqobile. That was well done on his part. So all is good for the wrong things. So anyways, the police come through to arrest Nqobile. Nqobile is taken to prison, and then she gets bailed by Black Widow. And that's when Black Widow tells Nqobile that actually I am your long lost grandmother and this is how I lost you, and the story makes sense. So Nqobile is happy and excited that she actually has a blood relative, you know, because after George passed away, like Simo's father passed away, she, you know, felt like she lost a parental figure that showed her so much love. So for her to then reconnect with her biological grandmother was a good thing. But of course, Simo had to ruin that when Simo revealed that actually your fabulous grandmother here killed George, the only man who ever loved you. And whatever was building between Black Widow and Nqobile crumbles. That's what. So for once, the police actually do their job. They investigate this murder, and Ntombi's murder that is, and they find Simo's ring at Ntombi's place or wherever Ntombi died at. Because the ring was there, the police conclude that Simo killed Ntombi. So when they come to arrest Simo, Simo does say, "Excuse me, she was my side chick. Of course she would have my ring. Of course my ring, you know, would be there. We were having an affair. I've been at that place too." And that's a very good defense. There is a possibility that that's how the ring ended up there. But to the police, it proved that Simo was there. But of course, Simo was there. And of course, Simo is the one that killed Nqobile. So I bloody love this show, man. I totally enjoyed it. And it was hella fun when Simo got dragged away to prison. So Simo got taken away by the police for killing Ntombi. Of course, murder is a punishable crime, and I'm glad he got punished for it. But I have an issue with that. I wanted, yes, this is just my opinion. I wanted Simo to be punished for abusing Nqobile, not for something. I mean, okay, what I'm trying to say is I don't see why in the storyline Ntombi had to die. I really don't get it, okay? It's not like every side chick out there ends up dying in the hands of the man that they're in a relationship with. No. Let her give birth to that baby, and Simo's already in a prison and she no longer has a best friend and she suffers. That's just my opinion. Initially, Sibambura was the driver and Mamboy was the cleaner. But of course, the male drivers got retrenched, including Sibambura. And Mamboy got sort of promoted to being a driver. So now that changed the whole dynamic in their household. Sibambura, who was head of the house, the provider in the house, his world just crumbled. He lost his job. So he was feeling down, he was a bit depressed, and he started drinking. And Mampoy has been elevated work-wise, and she was loving it. And I feel that she showed absolutely no sympathy for her husband, whose world just crumbled. She just expected him to get with the problem and automatically switch to house husband. It doesn't work like that. The man needs time to work through his emotions, process everything, and formulate a plan moving forward. My closing comments on the show is pray. We need to pray that you get the right partner, that you get into a committed relationship with the right partner, that your values align, that what you consider wrong, your partner also considers wrong. You know, that you guys are equally yoked, you value the same things, that you are able to communicate without fear, that you are able to handle your anger, your partner is able to handle their anger. That is all I think just moving forward we need to do, as to pray for a good partner. All right, and when you see the red flags from the start, believe them and exit stage left. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure that you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.